Hey guys, thanks for coming back to my channel. So this is the second video on the places that I've been so far and the things you should see in those cities that I've been. If you haven't seen the first one, go check that out first and then come over here and finish watching me explain the places that I've been and what I've enjoyed about them. Thanks, enjoy the video. So then I went to Milan Central and went on my next trip to Florence. So I went to the hostel for 3 nights because I was there from Friday, Saturday night, and Sunday night, and I left on Monday. And like I said, I stayed in the Plus Florence hostel, and I got that on hostelworld.com. So for my itinerary, I did the Renaissance walk with Rick Steves, and that was awesome because I got to just kind of walk around Florence and understand the history of the city. And then also I went to go see the David statue, of course, and when I went, it was free because it was Cultured Week there, so all of the state museums was free and open. So that was a really good opportunity to see any history and paintings and sculptures that especially Michelangelo did in Florence. I also went to the Duomo. I was actually able to go to church there on Sunday, so I saw the inside for free also, but I think during that week, that Cultured Week, it was not free to go into the church, so I was lucky enough to go to Mass on Sunday and get that free entrance. Then on Saturday, also, I went to the Chanti half-day wine tour. It was really cool and really cheap. It was probably like 45 euros for 6 hours, and they drove you around to 4 different wineries and into vineyards, and it was really cool and really yummy to taste all the different local wines and also like little salamis and breads and olive oils made in Italy and that Tuscan area, which was awesome. And I got to meet a lot of other students too because it was such a cheap price that it pretty much went towards students, which was great. Then I also went to the Piazza Michelangelo, and that was a great place to go and see the sunset and to hike up with your friends, get a bottle of wine and a couple appetizers. And it was a great way to finish off seeing Florence because there's beautiful views on top of that piazza and to see everything below. Then on Monday, I took the train back to Milan and I was ready for my next adventure. So on a Wednesday, when I did not have school, I decided to go to Lecco. That's a city in Lake Como, or overlooking Lake Como, and it was a perfect short, really cheap price train that took me there. It was probably 7 euros round trip, and I was able to go to the train station and then get a bus from Via Montello and go up to the Piana di Erna. I'm looking at my book right now for the information. And that was where the cable car was, and you could take the cable car up into the mountain and see overlooking the Lake Como, but I decided to hike actually. So I hiked around 5 different trails. 2 of them were really steep and hard, so that's why I had to turn around, but the other 3 were pretty easy, so I did all of them. And from one of the main hikes, it was really pretty to just sit there and be in the sun and overlook Lake Como. Like, I love the landscape of a lake to high mountains, or just pretty much like flat land to high mountains, and that's what Lecco had, especially looking over Lake Como, which was beautiful. And I definitely want to go to different parts or different towns around Lake Como to have a better view of it also. But that was a really good little day trip, and especially being in Milan, that's where I'm studying, it was really easy to get there. And even if you're coming from like Switzerland or France or even the side of Croatia, the lakes are very accessible and a really pretty visit to do. Then I went to Budapest, and that was the first time, or actually one of the first times, that I was able to fly in Europe because it was far away, and it was probably like a 3-hour flight. And when I look back at it now, I realized that I saw a lot of the nightlife there in Budapest because they're known for their pubs and their bars and just their ruin bars, that's what they're called, because there used to be something else like a church or maybe an office building or something, and they turned it into a bar. So kind of all these random little rooms that work as a bar. It's really, really interesting. So I definitely recommend you go check out like 4 or even 5 bars when you're in Budapest, just kind of see the vibe and the feel about it. So like I said, I was there for 5 days, and that was the longest time I was in a city since spring break, which I was there for 10 days in spring break, but I'll make a separate video on that. So Budapest was awesome because of the bars, and then I also went to a boat cruise, which was really pretty to see the whole city at night because the lights all come up and you're able to see every little part of it because you can see every little light, and that's really magical. Then also on Friday, I went to the House of Horror Museum. We kind of went to that randomly, like we were walking around and we just ended up going inside, and it was 20 euros, so it was kind of expensive, but it was so worth it. Like, I didn't even know that Budapest was completely in World War II, which was dumb because of course it was, because it was the middle of Russia and Germany, but I just didn't really think about it. But once I went to this museum, I totally saw its impact and how the Budapest Hungarian people were totally affected by World War II, and probably World War I also, but World War II mostly, and how the Nazis were in there and how unfortunately they tortured a lot of people in that one building where the museum was held. And I went downstairs to the basement and to the torture rooms, and it was really, really, really sad, but really, really interesting. And just to be in that place that all that history happened was really, really shocking and really moved me. So that it was called the House of Horror Museum, and that was just a really good museum. So I definitely recommend you going there. So like I said, I went on a boat cruise. I went to a lot of different pubs. I went to a pub crawl. That was really easy to see all those different pubs. So I recommend doing that. So like I said, Budapest was amazing, especially the nightlife and just walking around, seeing the city and the different cable bridges and a lot of different cultures also all in one city, which was great. So after that, I took a flight home to Milan, and then I went to Zadar, Croatia. So it's kind of close to Milan, at least it's from the eastern side. And it was a really cheap flight. It was 7 euros there and 7 euros back. So 14 euros round trip. And it was nice because the Wednesday before that weekend, me and my friend were just sitting and having dinner. We're like, where should we go this weekend? And I love that because we just typed in a random location in Ryanair and we ended up going to Zadar, Croatia. So Zadar is not really the most popular. I know Split is, but Zadar was still beautiful. And we stayed in the Mellow Monkey hostel, and we found that on hostelworld.com. Also, like my other hostels that I found, we were in a mixed room, and it was just me and my friends, so that was fine, girls and guys. It was around 80 euros for the whole total trip for 3 nights. And we went to Milano Bergamo Airport, and we flew into Zadar. On Friday, we just kind of checked into our hostel and got there a little late, so we just like chilled out. Then on Saturday, it was our big day. We went to Krka National Park, and we took a ferry. We actually took a bus from the main bus station in Zadar. Then we went to the national park, and then we had to take a ferry from there to the actual park because it was like kind of on a separate island. And anyways, we went there, and it had beautiful waterfalls, and we were able to literally like walk through the waterfalls. There was a path, obviously man-made, so don't expect there to be any hiking because there's not. You just kind of walk around, and I think it's around like 2 miles walk. So we did it backwards, so there was less crowds, which is nice. I would recommend doing that. But it was beautiful pictures, or beautiful opportunities to take pictures, beautiful waterfalls, and there was little information plates about different waterfalls and how they kind of affected the land and how they affected the people who lived in that area before it became a national park. So after the national park, we just came back and relaxed, went to a bar, got some food. Then on Sunday, we went cliff jumping, and we found this little place right next to a nice cafe too. So we had lunch and then went cliff jumping, and it was really cold water, but we wanted to say that we swam in the Mediterranean when we were there. So we kind of sucked it up and had a fun time. Then on Monday, we walked around the old town and the old city, and there's really good restaurants there, seafood, Italian, all different types, and that was a really good place to see the history, of course, of Zadar and Croatia. So I recommend at least spending like a day or a half in the old town, old city. So after exploring the old city in Zadar, we went back to our hostel, and the next day we woke up and flew out of Zadar into Milan again. So out of all of these places, Florence, Budapest, Lecco, and Zadar, I learned a lot of good things. I experienced a lot and saw beautiful landscapes. So it was really, really fun, and I can't wait to go to new places and record them and tell you about the tips and tricks of each place. So let me know if any of this stuff helped you, and if you've been to any of those places that I've been to so far, and just stay tuned for my other videos. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.